Soundcheck.
Hey, this is Monica, and I'm here with Special K.
You're on Sirius Radio with Special K, and my guest today is the one and only Monica. How are you doing, dear?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing fine. It's great to see you again. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And you're still making hits.
Trying.
I love this new one, All Eyes on Me.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the concept behind that.
It was really kind of funny because I was already planning to work with Rodney Jerkins, and we had been talking about trying to redo PYT because it was one of my favorite songs. And Rodney had worked with Michael on the last album, so he was able to get in touch with him and us to get the permission and do what we needed to do with the song. But the overall concept, I felt like with the idea of trying to come up with the first single, I just wanted a song that was, lighthearted and fun. And that was the one thing that, we thought about most when we wrote it, but just something that didn't have any, in-depth meaning or anything, just something to have a good time to and to dance to.
And it came out at the right time, summertime, and of course, like you say, using the track from Michael behind it. And it matches you, or PYT, so good track.
Thank you.
So catch me up. I mean, I saw you in 95. Thank you for coming and hosting a birthday party or performing at my birthday party back then. What you been doing since then?
I guess just all the natural things, from 13 to now, just all the usual stuff happened, just kind of getting to know yourself. So it gave me more to contribute towards the album, just taking time off. I took time in between both albums just to do the normal stuff, get away from work. And then I can come back refreshed and, ready for the albums.
Well, you teamed up with the legend Clive Davis, and he is not a joke. I've seen all the artists that he's put out recently, and he's a winner, and I've watched him with you. In fact, I think here in New York, they gave a kind of a launch for you back a couple of years ago, and you came out looking stunning again and did your thing.
Thank you.
What made you decide to go with Clive?
That's who I started with. At 12 years old, I was in his office singing a cappella, and it was something that he says that he saw in me, but it's a lot that I saw in him as well, because he has an attachment to me more so than just the music. It goes beyond me being an artist, and he just has this hands-on thing that I don't think everybody gets, at other labels. So I just thought it would be good for me to continue having that same formula, that same system.
There's another lady that he's worked with, Deborah Cox, and we were friends when she first came out, and she used to tell me the same thing. He's on point. He'll call a hotel and tell her, make sure you got that dress on. Does he do the same with you?
Yeah, he's actually worse with me. Well, how is your hair? Now, well, what colors are you wearing? I mean, it's a trip, but it's something that if I didn't have, I just don't know if it would be the same, just that connection. It makes it easy to work, and you have that respect for each other.
At 12 years old, I'm sure your parents were very much involved in your career at the time. And you were probably in the teenage, preteen stages. How was your family taking it?
I think that my mom was more afraid, than anything else. One of the things that it's always been a blessing is that my family, they're the ones that handle a majority of my business, period, unless it comes to the label. So she's always felt comfortable in that aspect, but she was always concerned with how I took it, and how I felt about living my life that way and not being able to go to regular schools, she wondered if I felt as if I was missing something. But I used to always tell her, well, if I never had it, I don't know, I missed it, right? So I really didn't, because I enjoyed music so much. But she was more just adamant about me understanding that if I ever wanted to stop, that I could, that this wasn't something that I had to do.
What would you say to the other 11 and 12-year-olds out there that are pursuing this? I mean, they see Bow Wow, they see all these young kids coming up, and, the labels and A&R cats are looking for them at that age. What advice would you give these young children?
I think the advice would go beyond the children, because I think sometimes you can find parents that are pushing their children into this line of work, and it's not easy. I think preparation is the best thing I could ask people to do. My family and I, we read a lot of different books. This Business of Music was one of the books that helped us to understand, a lot of the things that were going on. I think they should just get the knowledge first. I don't think people realize the amount of work that goes behind this. And if you look at people like Bow Wow and, of course, Romeo, you'll also get a chance to see a strong family background as well. Bow's mother is his management. But if you see her behind the scenes, it's like tug of war because you love your kids. And then it's like, but then you're trying to handle business, so it's a lot. I just think people should be educated. They should be more knowledgeable.
When you came out, and it's funny because it's happening again, you came out around the same time Brandy came out. Mm-hmm. Remember that big duet that seemed like the battle of the females at the time? Give me some personal feelings on that from your standpoint.
I think it was the best thing that either of us could have done. We were able to, we both had a dream to be in this, in different ways. And we kind of decided to come together when she was working on her second album, and she called and said we wanted to do a song. But we wanted it to be a battle song, kind of like the Female Face-Off, because that's how people thought we were in real life. And even though it wasn't that way, we knew that it would make the song fun. But we never expected the things that came after that, like winning a Grammy. At 17 years old, like, my gosh, most people have 7 albums at least before they get those, So it's like we made history together, and that'll always be something that means a lot to the both of us.
It seems like that flame is about to be reunited and reignited, I should say, because she's out and here you are, you're out too. Let's talk about this new project you have out. We're blowing up All Eyes on Me, but tell me about some of the other tracks on this album.
The album consists of a lot of different types of songs, which I think people have gotten a chance to see me do before. Like, I could do ballads and then do songs like whether it was over samples. My first song ever was off of Backseat of My Jeep by LL Cool J. So it's like, okay, the little girl, she'll sing to whatever we drop, and that's what I wanted to keep on the album, some diversity, just where different people could enjoy different things, but a lot of different subject matters on the album. They're more serious because I think that at this point, anything I've learned, I should share. And that's how I went forth in making the songs on the album, especially in writing them.
I was going to ask you about that. I heard you're now writing a lot more. And that's one of Clive's pet peeves when he finds an artist is to get them writing. He was doing that with Whitney. I think he got her to start thinking about writing. And now you're doing it too, huh?
He never mentioned it to me. He was always so concerned about me being comfortable and still enjoying life at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. He really never mentioned it. And it kind of happened by chance. I started writing poems, and they were writing songs off of the poems. And then Rodney Jerkins was like, if you can write that, lyrics and songs is just another form of it. Let me show you how song structure goes. And the way you sing them, you got to already know, And so we kind of sat down and it started like that. So it wasn't something that we thought a lot about. It was just something that by chance I moved into. And it's a part of me now because it's a real good way for me to express myself.
So are there songs on this album that you've written?
Yeah, all except for 3.
Whoa. Which producers did you work with on this album?
I kept the same unit. Rodney Jerkins, Jermaine Dupri, Dallas Austin, and Soul Shock and Carlin.
Man, Soul Shock and them, they don't get a lot of acknowledgement as far as a Rodney Jerkins.
And they're great producers.
They've been making hits for a long time.
Yes. And it could be them being going country to country. They're known, a lot more in other countries as well because it's like they do so many different types of music. But when it comes to R&B, they've contributed a lot,
How long did it take you to record this album?
Actually, 7 months, which really wasn't long because I started right before September 11th. After that, I really felt like, okay, you know what? I'm not the only person that needs some time. The world needs some time. And we weren't traveling back and forth. And I wasn't pushing for that. At that point, I had already taken 2 years off. So I said, we'll just wait till people, get a chance to just really spend some time with their families. A lot of the producers were in California and they were, kind of stuck there. They didn't really want to travel. So we stopped and we didn't go forth with anything else until like the top of this year, January.
That was a tragedy, September 11th. I happened to be right here watching it as it unfolded. A lot of things went through my mind, but what went through your mind for September 11th?
I actually had to ask myself, is this the end? I just didn't know exactly where it was going to stop, seeing one building go, then the next building. I more so was trying to prepare my mind for whatever else was to come. And then, too, dealing with that and then going right back to dealing with losing people in the music industry that I grew up around, grew up doing the same thing with, that had another lasting effect. But I guess my main concern was, if I'm here to do anything else, I want to do something where I can create some type of messages, not to just, use music as, okay, we'll dance for a year or two to it and we'll throw it to the side. I wanted it to have some type of lasting effect, because we were affected in a bad way through that. But, I think music is healing, and I did some stuff that is directed, towards that incident. And one song is called Searching for the Answers. And I also was at Lisa's funeral, and I decided that the choir that sang there, I don't know, they just stayed on my mind, and they're actually on the song with me as well. I just think the album should just have more to it. It should be directed towards the things that we deal with here in now. I didn't do a fairy tale record. I did one about real life.
Do you have any plans to do any gospel music?
Yeah. And I think that's what people will consider these songs that I'm talking about right now. But I do. I think it's that's where I began. So there's no way not to go back to it.
I hear you. One of the questions I'm interested in finding out is, who would you be interested in doing a duet with?
I'll be honest. This time around, I had a great song I really want to do with JC of NSYNC, and I've always done songs with Usher as well. But I also recognize the fact that I had been gone a long time, and I wanted the strongest points of the album to just be me, by myself. So I didn't put any duets on the album this time.
Okay, cool. So we know it's going to be all you.
Yeah.
All eyes on you, I should say, right? I feel that. Okay. Now, my next question would be your tour. Any idea of when you're going to start going out so these people across the country can catch you?
Yeah, that is so hard. The first shows, they're starting this weekend, and those are more like I'm doing a lot of radio dates just to get back into the swing of being out there, because being at home with your feet up for 3 years is quite different from what it takes to really be prosperous in this. But I've just kind of been preparing, small dates here and there, but in January, we're really putting together an all-out tour where I'll be in each and every place, and it'll be me, with, I'm looking to maybe take about 2 more people with me. I haven't figured out exactly who, but at the top of the year, we'll start.
Cool. You got room in your luggage? Oh, man. I know I got to turn the lights down because I see a lot of bling bling coming off the fingers.
Oh,
so
okay.
What's that about?
Well, I love jewelry and stuff like that. And a lot of my stuff was gifts at real important, moments in my life or whatever. I had someone that I lost that was real close to me, and I was given the cross, for strength. So it's not just like the idea of I'm an artist and that's what I should wear. Most of my jewelry, it marked certain points in my life.
Okay. Now, what would be the best point in your life as of right now?
The best point? I think the best point was when I realized that I was really able to take care of my parents. That was the best point, because after all the hard work, you do want to see something. A lot of people, they feel satisfied in like buying $100,000 cars and all this other foolishness, but really being able to, make them comfortable, like my grandmother in old age, being able to make sure that she's comfortable, just in living her life that way. I think that's the best part about it. And it drives me to continue to work, and it drives me to continue to, just be thankful and understand that this is a blessing. It's not promise. So
I hear that. I remember you were a diamond in the rough, and we do a segment here called Diamonds in the Rough for new and upcoming artists or established artists have new albums out. On your album, if we were to pick a song that would be a diamond in the rough, what would you say it is?
I'd have to say it's a song called I Wrote This Song, which was the first song that I ever wrote. I got it from Soul Shock and Carlin, and it was already written. And I called them and asked them, did they think the writer would be offended if I, cleared the slate and wrote the song on my own about an incident that I had experienced. And they didn't mind. And it was the very first song that I ever wrote, and it was like opening the floodgates. It continued on from there.
Wow, we look forward to that diamond. I know it's going to be a diamond. A true story, too? Let me ask you, took a nice long break.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do during your break? If I would have called you and said, Monica, I'm in town, let's hang out, what would we have done?
For me, I'm a real low-key person. I really like the other side of my life. My family, we have get-togethers once a week where all of us get together at my mom's house, so that's a regular thing. I'm a big movie goer. I used to cook a lot. I kind of stopped being back on the road. Well, I stopped completely being back on the road, but just the real relaxed things. I like going to parks and stuff. I have 3 really large dogs, so I take them, whatever I can do that gets me the furthest away from industry stuff, that's what I do.
I feel you. What kind of dogs you have?
I hate saying what kind of dogs I have because there's this crazy case going on with them. They're Presa Canaries. And they mauled this soccer coach to death. It was really sad, but I think that comes from how the owners deal with them because they're naturally really aggressive animals. So, but when people see them, it's like, hi, Monica, bye, Monica, really quick. But they're good animals. I spend a lot of time with them.
I was going to say, so fellas, look out if you see Monica and the 3 dogs, to leave her alone.
Yes.
She's just trying to chill right
Yes.
now. Oh, man. So what are some of the things you do that get you inspired to write?
You know what's so strange? It's not even that thought out for me. Like I could leave here and be in the car and it just may come to me, But as far as my inspiration, I think the one thing that inspires me to continue are like the people that I meet in the day-to-day that tell me something that they got from me positive. It's so easy for people to pick out the negative or mistakes that I've made in my life, but I'm a human being. And those people that don't see me as a superhero, they see the other side of me and they feel some type of personal attachment to me. That inspires me. But I can't sit down and say, you know what, I want to have a moment now. It just kind of happens, whenever it does, so.
I hear you. Now, in working with these 3 great producers, each one of them is a different person, has a different style. Yeah. Are you closely involved with the production side?
Absolutely.
Can you give me some funny stories or some kind of stories that really pique your mind about working with each one of them?
Now, the one thing that always amazes me with Rodney is he can change his sound so tremendously. Like, Brandy's single was a great song, What About Us? But it doesn't sound at all similar to All Eyes on Me. It's the exact same production, the exact same, and people would never know if you didn't just say it. So that's the one thing that I always found about him. But the one thing that stood out in my mind about this album working with him is him picking up his cell and calling Michael, telling him, Monica is in here and she wants to do your record over. What can you do? The next morning, he flies in his assistant with the original reels from 83. Like, here you go. Michael said use these and his vocals are on there if you want to do anything. So that's something that stands out about this album with Rodney. With Jermaine, that's more like, that's my partner. That's the one that even when things are bad, I can pick up the phone and have that conversation with him. He's one that's going to always try to get you out. So if ever you call Atlanta and you trying to be somewhere, Jermaine is the one. And he gave me a lot of different little nicknames and little jokes that we had, but we were able to turn them into songs. And that was a good thing for me because it was it made it more personal, but at the same time it's sharing, with other people. And then as far as Dallas has always been a real strong male figure in my life, because my father's always been there. But, with it having divorced parents, it was like whenever I would work, my mother was constantly there. My father wasn't there in the studios and seeing everything that I was going through. So Dallas kind of lived out that part because he felt it was important for me to be able to hold my childhood, close to me and not look at it as some, slavery time where I was whipped into, being in the studio and being in the booth all the time. So all of our relationships are different. And even with Soul Shock and Carlin, those are the only ones that I don't get to see on a constant basis because they're usually in Europe. But when they come, we get a chance to spend time together and they respect me as an artist. Even when I was 13 years old, they would never come in and tell me how to sing it. It was like, you do what you want to do to it. You add that, and that's what'll make the connection. Whether it was Before You Walk Out of My Life or all the different songs that they did, they gave me that space that a lot of people didn't think a 13 or 14-year-old was capable of, but they saw something different in me. So we all share our own little stuff.
I hear you. Of all the new artists out there, who do you think is the hottest one?
Of all the new artists, you know, I really like Ashanti. I really like the fact that she came in the gate writing, you know, doing a lot of different stuff. You know, because when I first came in, all I knew was that I liked singing and I wasn't trained to do anything else. So be it, you know. But I like the fact that she's young and she's able to just come in and be able to do a lot of different things at one time.
Are you going out to the awards, the Women in Soul?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you got to get out there. You one of them?
No, I'll go when I'm nominated.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm not going to hold you up anymore. I know you got a lot of things on your itinerary, but you're going to host this birthday thing for me, right?
That's right.
Okay, so you guys be on the lookout. Monica will be on the air live.
Yeah, you got the day off.
That's right. Thank you. I get to go hang out on the beach and get all eyes on me, right?
Okay.
Monica, thanks for coming by Sirius.
Thank you.
Any last words?
Oh, yeah, just a lot of thanks. You know, I'm really grateful for the people that have been supportive, even through my absence, you know. But I'm back officially.
Monica, right here on Sirius, all eyes on her.